You are listening to Christian Audio's production of The Gift of Hard Things, Finding Grace in Unexpected Places by Mark Yaconelli. This book is read by Mike Chamberlain. This audio recording was produced in 2016 by Christian Audio, which owns the copyright. No portion of this recording may be reproduced for any reason without prior written consent from Christian Audio. This edition recorded and distributed by permission of InterVarsity Press, P.O. Box 1400, Downers Grove, Illinois, 60515, USA, www.ivpress.com. Originally published by InterVarsity Press as The Gift of Hard Things, copyright 2016 by Mark Yaconelli. All rights reserved. Please visit christianaudio.com, facebook.com/christianaudio, or twitter.com/christianaudio to offer your impressions of this work and to explore additional titles. Introduction. The Alchemy of Grace. I love the thing that I most wish had not happened. Stephen Colbert. One April afternoon, I sat in the backyard of a 19th century farmhouse with my friend Eric, watching our two 10-year-old daughters run and play across a green meadow dotted with wildflowers. Enjoying the smell of apple blossoms, the late afternoon light, and cold iced tea, we became engaged in conversation and lost track of our daughters. 30 minutes went by until Eric's wife called from the house, "Where are the girls?" Chagrined, we stood suddenly and scanned the field. To our surprise, we spotted the girls atop two horses, riding along the far perimeter of the meadow. Eric did not own horses. Our daughters had no equine experience. Quickly, and without a word to Eric's wife, we ran across the field where we spotted a woman in wranglers and a straw cowboy hat standing in the shadow of an oak grove, shouting instructions to our daughters. Her name was Jane, and she worked a ranch up in the Green Springs mountain area above our valley. She had rights to bring her horses down to the 100-acre meadow for fresh grass, water, and to stimulate their minds and hearts. Jane called herself a horse shrink, a therapist for horses. She took in abandoned and abused animals, brought them back to their natural selves, and then sold them to caring owners. We stood in the shade of the black oaks as Jane told us about her work. Sometimes I get horses who have spent their whole lives cooped up in a barn. Since birth, they have lived in darkness, eating from an oat bucket, drinking from a trough. They've never seen the world, never had fresh water from a creek, or eaten grass in a field, or had space to run in the open. When I'm given one of these horses, I bring it down here to this meadow for a week or so. I set up a camping trailer and just let it go free. "What happens?" I asked. "Well, the first day and night it stays next to my trailer whining for oats and water. Here it has over 100 acres of green grass, and it stares at me like it's starving, begging for food." "Do you feed it?" "No. I walk it to the creek or take it out to the middle of the meadow, and still it whines and begs. Sometimes it stands in the creek, with water running over its hooves, crying with thirst. It is so routinized to buckets and troughs that it doesn't recognize anything, even when its nose smells water. And then, out of sheer desperation, the horse will bow its head and brush its lips along the creek and stick out its tongue, and then suddenly drink and toss its head and whinny with happiness. And a day later, because it's half starved, it will reach down into the meadow and tear up a clump of grass and eat. Then, all of a sudden, it knows. I am surrounded by food." Jane laughed. "What happens when the realization hits?" I wondered. "It runs. The horse will take off and gallop and kick and run. That's the moment I love most. That's why I do this work. To see that moment when a creature realizes it's free within a big, beautiful world. That's pure joy.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?